One thing about Japan's medieval era that FX Shogun makes very obvious is that humanity can sometimes be problematic. It's all about politics, business, and war, which is why Lord Toranaga, played by Hiroyuki Sanada, doesn't think twice about sacrificing a soldier and an infant to please his rivals in Osaka. Toranaga believes they have fulfilled their obligation and fulfilled their goal. Now that he is the Lord of Edo, he can defend democracy, maintain peace, and make sure the legitimate heir of Japan inherits the kingdom when he reaches adulthood. His inner circle consists of several people who come across as equally callous and icy. It's interesting to note that the Eightfold Fence, the fourth episode, delves into the underlying ideas of the title. When Toranaga's soldiers arrive in Ajiro, the Eightfold Fence finds Shogun John Blackthorne furious because he is unable to use his guns, see his men who are imprisoned, or visit his ship. He insists that all of these specifics are a part of the agreement he made with Toranaga, but Toda Mariko makes it plain that he is only permitted to have certain commodities and pleasures in moderation. She knows he is faithful, honest, and devoted to Toranaga and to herself, therefore she dislikes seeing him frustrated. Eventually, Mariko admits the real reason they have to be so robotic. Mariko informs him about the Eightfold Fence, a coping technique taught to Japanese people from an early age. They separate their emotions and toughen up mentally. Though they keep their personal and professional opinions apart, they nevertheless have feelings. Because of this, despite Mariko's affection for Blackthorne, she may use him like a puppet to get information out of him. This is just how they were raised to succeed. It's not a case of muddled signals. The idea that women who are made to perform things against their will must internalize their emotions is further developed by this. It was demonstrated by Fuji having to bear witnessing her family being sacrificed in order to appease Lord Ishido, and by Mariko biting her tongue in response to abuse from her late husband Buntoro. In a similar vein, Fuji must submit to Toranaga and serve as Blackthorne's consort. It's not pleasant to be a pawn in a patriarchal system, but the fence enables women to accept these uncomfortable realities of life. They are able to live contentedly within their home because of the mental barriers that divide work from play. Mariko appears to be putting the Eightfold Fence into practice as she acts upbeat in the cabin Toranaga rents for them. Characters like Omi, who is brutal in his defense of Ajiro, but incredibly submissive at home, serve as further examples of this. But because Blackthorne is continually displaying his feelings, he finds the Japanese dualism fascinating. Though he doesn't pass judgment, he can appreciate Mariko's shyness around guys. It's interesting that she quietly gives him one of his pistols, demonstrating her concern. She occasionally maintains her limits loose so that she can easily bend them. Finally, Mariko and Blackthorne enjoy a nice evening together in Shogun Episode 4. Both have experienced pain and sadness as a result of losing friends and relatives in different wars. They are content to comfort one another. Even though the would-be lovers are having clandestine trysts, audiences might have sensed love in the air from a mile away. To Blackthorne's advantage, Fuji is fortunately present to cover for them and deny it if necessary. Mariko feels that Blackthorne's relaxed state of mind will be beneficial to him as he trains the Ajiro army in the use of weapons, cannons, and other European military techniques. She thinks he's capable of creating his own walls and compartmentalizing like her. She is aware of his longing for his family and his sense of dishonor that stems from his failure to visit his men. However, she could sense that he was encircling her finger just by being with him. Is this whole thing just a ruse to get him to obey her, and hence Toranaga? It is conceivable. However, there's also a good chance that Mariko has good intentions after witnessing Blackthorne put his life in danger to save her during Ishido's men's attack in Osaka. For the first time in a long time, Mariko is happy, which is why she shares some of her enigmatic family history, and why she can't find closure over some deaths. Blackthorne lets things down, thinking she would eventually come clean and reveal everything when the time is right. This depicts a more mature Blackthorne who is tired of running. Despite his fear of love, he sensed that Mariko was the right person for him. They both calm the inner storms that are raging within each other, and it's clear that they have each other in mind when they construct their barriers. It still remains to be seen if Toranaga would accept this if it interfered with his intentions. Building bridges between Mariko and Blackthorne may cause issues in the future. Toranaga may not like hearing that Mariko isn't treating him like a tool. She is, after all, intended to be a drone, an emissary or a translator for the Lord of Edo. Since Ishido and the Council of Regents have them marked for death, there is no time for romance. They could either let someone else, like Fuji, perform the work or finish it promptly and effectively. Toranaga seems to be aiming for that as he orders his warriors to level up while Blackthorn is watching. Not only may this link upset Lord Toranaga, but it also implies that Blackthorn and Mariko stand to lose. When the conflict starts, this could put them at risk. Although Mariko has already abandoned him once in order to defend Toranaga's squad, she might break the law out of love if she needs to do so again. If she is thought to be a traitor, this could bring her shame, contempt, and ridicule. Going forward, preserving Blackthorn's reputation will be nerve-wracking because she is still very much a hostile hostage. Ishido's soldiers now have targets to take advantage of as well. Ishido's troops are capable of apprehending, torturing, and dismembering any party in the distance. Mariko's desire to be a robot is challenged by this relationship, as it causes her to risk attachment, turning it from something lovely to something unpleasant and cursed. At the worst conceivable moment, Blackthorn and Mariko become vulnerable as they open their hearts and let love spill over. Since Buntaro's demise remained unseen in the film, there's also a remote possibility that Ishido's men stole him alive. Should he manage to get away and later encounter a Mariko, who is unwilling to sacrifice her autonomy and power once more, this would make everything more difficult. Buntaro will be furious if he believes Blackthorn to be his wife's ideal man. In particular, he'll realize that although she and he both discovered freedom in one another, he is still bound to a civil war and the dynasties that came before. Shogun is ultimately leaning toward love, but there could be issues with this possible romance for all parties.